Good morning. I know you can't see me. I'm hoping you can hear me today. We've got this down pat today, I tell you. We are about to kick off in 1 minute and 23, 22, 21, 20 seconds. And I can't wait to show you what I've got in store for you today. You are in for such a treat today. So exciting.
Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered the self-image concept as we know it today. In 1960, he was a plastic surgeon, and he realized he was operating on people. He may remove a nasty scar from their face, and he noticed sometimes when he removed the scar or maybe did a nose job on them or something, there was a great psychological change took place in the person. Where they may have been introverted, they started to become very gregarious and outgoing. And he postulated that there must be two images that we have, an exterior image, and we also have an inner self-image. Mm-hmm. And he started to study this, and he wrote a magnificent book on it called Psycho-Cybernetics. Mm-hmm. And psycho-cybernetics, psycho being the mind, cybernetics being the science of control and communication. And he goes into this, and he explains how every one of us has an image in our mind of ourself, and it's called a self-image. Too many people don't know much about themselves, and so they don't have a very good image of themselves. And you'll often notice that people will shy away from you. They won't look you in the eye. They'll look down or look up. They'll never try to do anything of any great consequence because they don't think they can. They have a poor self-image. But yes, if we're told we're not very good, you're just like you're dead, you're a bum, you're never going to do well, you didn't go to school, you can't win. That's all false. We can do anything. And we should be encouraging a child. Give them a pat on the back rather than a kick.
Okay, how can we improve it? Something specific. How can we go about making our self-image more positive?
Well, if a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, build the image in our mind of how we'd like to see ourselves. Mm-hmm. How we'd like to see ourselves acting in life, relating to other people, our social life, see ourselves in the position we hold, or how we make our sales presentations if we happen to be in selling or something, and then take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. I am so happy now that I see myself, and write it out. Now, a lot of people will laugh at this and say, that doesn't make any sense. It makes a lot of sense. They can't tell you why it doesn't. I could spend hours telling you why it does, and I could explain it in such detail that everyone would understand it. But write out a description of how you'd like to see yourself. Start to read it, and read it, and read it, and read it every day. Carry it around and keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers, all down through history, have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it, we become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. Mm-hmm. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it. And when William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact, you will see the person's personality change. I watch people in the seminars, personality change right in front of my eyes. And all they're doing is starting to see themselves different. They're starting to think different thoughts.
Good morning. Welcome to your Saturday morning here with all of us, working on our own self-images. What it is that keeps us turning up the way that we do. Now, I got this beautiful deck of cards from one of my favorite clients, Eva Gard. She sent me these for Christmas. And I pull one every single day. I come in here, I do the things that I need to do to set myself up for success each day. Everything I've told you guys to do, I do and have done for the last 7 years. I am not here to tell you any lies or things that I do not do myself. I am the walking, talking of this. And so I came in this morning and I chose this card. Now, remember what I said, that I look for butterflies and rabbits and 11 and 76 to show me that I am on the right path. And this is the card that I drew for all of us this morning. And I thought, what a perfect card. So I'm actually going to read it to you. It's the Angel of Emergence. It is time for the real you to emerge. And I just thought, on Self-Image Day, there's just nothing more perfect. This card mirrors the start of a wondrous transformation that is about to occur in your life. For far too long now, you have felt second best and remained in the background. Oh man, it makes me cry. It is now time for the real you, the beautiful, talented and wondrous you to emerge. This is the emergence of your true nature, which until now you have denied to most of those around you, and often also denied to yourself. Over the coming days and weeks, you will begin to feel a newfound sense of confidence and excitement for your life. Embrace it. Give thanks to God and the angels, and above all, respect, love, and honor the beautiful and talented person that you are. Now, isn't that just absolutely perfect for today? Now, yesterday we heard a word, coincidence. I do not believe in coincidences. I believe that whatever you think about and whatever you believe as true of yourself, you are attracting the circumstances to show you that, to prove that to you. And you will keep proving a lie to yourself until you change your mind. Now, 7 years ago, when I attended my first training, it was probably in February that I really started. I'll tell you what I actually did. I was given a book. It was called You Were Born Rich. And it was given to me in a PDF. And, flipping through all those pieces of paper, that is not how I like to read a book. I like to actually read a book, or I like to use it on a Kindle or my iPad that I can flick through it. I like the iPad these days, hey, so I can zoom in and make the words bigger, so I don't always have to sit there with glasses on. Anyhow, it is not the way that I like to read a book through hundreds of pieces of paper. And I said, is there another way that I can do this? Is there an audio book that I can listen to? And my friend said, no, Polly, there's not. Now, this friend was heavily into Modere, which uses a lot of Bob Proctor's stuff in there to help them see themselves differently, to help them grow. And she said, no, but there's a YouTube. There's a 10-hour YouTube, 10 hours poll. Do you really want to do that? And I thought, I will do whatever it takes. So every morning at 7:30, we used to get out of bed at 7, and I would turn the TV on and I would watch 7 Sunrise. I turned that bloody thing off and I put on this 10-hour YouTube. It is called You Were Born Rich, and there's, you can watch it in YouTube yourself now. It's been broken down into 7 parts or something like that, I think. I watched that for half an hour every morning, half an hour every evening when I come home and was making dinner, and after I'd lost my shit and stuff like that, and then walked back out and came back in. Okay, this is the way Polly turns up. I watched these every single day. Now, my kids would get out of bed. Oh my God, Bob again. Really, Mum? Do we have to keep listening to this? Can't we just watch cartoons? I'm like, no. I want to be a better mum. I want to be a better person. I want my life to change. And this is what I've learned is going to help me change. I need to change the neuro pathways between my conscious and subconscious mind so that I think differently. I think differently about life. I think differently about myself so that I can turn up differently. So that's how I started. And then a paradigm shift came up, I think it was in April. And then by the time I'd finished that and done all the work, and I signed up and became a coach in May 2019. And I was given 12 months to become a coach. You had to do certain things. I had to write synopsises on every single lesson in Thinking into Results, hand them in, get them graded. I had to do video recordings and send them in to show them that I understood and that I wasn't just writing things. I had to show them that I understood this and that I was able to teach other people this material. That was 7 years ago. And I went to my first training. And my first training, a lady got up on stage that had been with Bob Proctor, I think since 2014 or something. Her name was Danielle, and she had a story a lot like mine. Drinking too much, wrong relationships, or thinking about herself in a negative way, not standing up and becoming the person that she wanted to become. And she got on stage and she told me a concept. She said, I wrote her and I became her. And I thought, oh, you know, our mind discounts the things that are so simple. Like, it cannot be that easy. But she told this story, and I looked at her and I thought, and she showed photos. Now, you've probably seen photos of me and how I looked 10 years ago. She is not who is turning up in front of you today. She has had a whole transformation. So I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I had a lady work with me. You may have seen her in this group. Now, there's a bit of a thing with lives these days, hey, that they only stay up for a month. So I may have to get her to do another live. However, I knew of her around town. And I did one of these trainings, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And she attended the training. She booked a call and I had a chat with her, and she says, Polly, I can't even work legally in Australia. I cannot get this money together. And I said, with that attitude, no, you won't. You need to change your attitude and decide that you're worthy of it, and the money will come. Do not try and figure it out. Just see yourself with it. And she said, there's so many things that I want to see myself with, but it's just so hard. And I said, well, you got to start somewhere. Just, if working with me is a goal, see yourself with it. Now, I was hanging out a load of washing one day, and her story touched me so much when I had that call with her. I thought, I've got an idea. She can't work and get paid legally, but she can help me. So I texted her and I said, I have a proposition. Can we have a conversation? And we had a conversation. I said, this is my proposal. And she said, oh my God, yes. So she came and worked for me and worked with me for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months or something in this office. Like, it was a different setup then. And she helped me serve my clients, send out packs, wrap things up, help me around the house, help me at the other workshop, just help me do, because I do run 2 businesses, and she helped me organize a lot of the things. And she would see me. I had this couch, and even this couch has a story. This is why I've got this couch. This whole room was designed around this couch. Anyway, I would lay on this couch, put my AirPods in, and listen to the story I wrote about myself, just like Alana said yesterday that she did. If you are not listening and if you don't have the idea of the person you want to become, how do you know what to change? So this is why a goal is so important. And a goal has to be out of the logical things that you normally do. It is illogical to pay somebody to have a mentor for 12 months and pay the amount of money to get the results that you want. I look at it like going to school, like a uni degree. That's how I look at this, because once you learn it and you use this formula for life, you can have anything that you want, absolutely anything. But you have to understand who you are first. You are a spiritual being living inside this physical body. You have emotions and you can think. You have the ability to change the vibratory frequency of you. A tree cannot, like an apple tree cannot turn into a tomato plant. It just cannot. But you can transform your whole entire life by transforming how you think about yourself. So what's the story that is holding you back? Now, I have a couple of notes here. To have a new image of yourself, you have to be willing and able to let an old image go. Now, that is really bloody scary. I know that. It's like all of you guys that are doing lives. Now I coach a few coaches, right? So I say to them, if you want people to interact with them, they need to get a feeling of you. You're going to have to do lives. Who will want to work with you if you're just a picture on a Facebook post? They need to know that you're real. Go in and do a live. And it's one of the scariest things that people do. But hey, you know what? 3 of them this week have done lives and they feel alive. They feel like they're actually making headway now, and I know that they will be. Because if you keep doing the same thing, I want you to think about what keeps you stuck. Now, I used to be somebody that had a lot of headaches. And I thought the boss that I wanted to be, the person in charge, the leader I wanted to be, cannot be having headaches to stop me from doing the things that I want to do. I used to have to take Inderal, which is not great for your weight and stuff as well, apparently, I hear. But I had to, it was what I had resigned myself to. And then when I had to change my self-image, it's like, okay, this is not who I am. I have to change that. And so I wrote a new story of myself. Now, I've had people that have worked, I had a lady work for me. She used to do 1 day a week. She had her own business on the side. And, like a lot of people, they tell you a story that everything's rosy, but you can tell by the way that they turn up, you're like, there's something just not quite right there. It just doesn't meet up. The story you're telling me and the way that you're turning up just doesn't fit. The picture just isn't, they just are not cohesive. So I asked the question one day, I said, is everything working out? And they're like, well, to tell you the truth. And I said, well, I've got this position. I would like you to manage my business, like my Hans Anything Metal business, and take over my role so I can be more into my coaching business. Now, this person was always late. We ran the kitchen together at the Little Athletics. We'd start at 4:30. She'd turn up at 5, 15:15. There would always be an excuse. When we started at 8 o'clock in the morning, I expected her at 8:30, sometimes 9, because there was always something that was going wrong. The moment I offered them this position, straight away she burst into tears. She said, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, well, this version of who you are right now is not going to be able to do it. You are going to have to upgrade your image of yourself. You are going to have to see yourself different, and you're going to have to turn up different. She was never late again. Maybe on the odd occasion there may have been something going on, but maybe twice in the 3 years. Never late. Turned up on time. That's how powerful a new self-image will be. But if you are not doing something that is out of your comfort zone, if your goal is not taking you out of your daily thinking of yourself, there's not much for you really to change. Because if you're doing something you know you can do, it doesn't require you to change. If you're doing something that you think you can do, it's like sideways. You may just have to do a little bit cleaner or something, who knows? But it is not going to require you to make a dramatic shift in how you see yourself. How you see yourself matters. Now, I have so many stories from so many of my clients. Like I've worked with over, if I add up all the people that I've helped in Thinking Results, we're talking over 200 people. And then in these trainings, there's thousands of people that I've helped change something in their life. I had somebody that just turned up to my classes like this, the training like this, and overcame OCD. They had tendencies before they could leave the home that this is what, they found out that I control this, I can control what I think about, and I can stop doing these things. Oh my God, nobody had ever told me that. They just said, here, take this medication, here, do this. You just resign yourself to the fact of that. Oh my God. You are in charge of you. And when you start to really understand the truth of you is that you have perfection within you, and your job is to let more of that out, to inspire others to do the same. Do you know how many people are just waiting for you to show up differently so that then you give permission to them to as well? You have no idea how many people are watching. If you have kids and grandkids and I have nieces and nephews, They're waiting for somebody to step out and do something different to give them permission. If you can't do this for yourself, do it for somebody else. Think of the betterment of the whole world. If everybody was focused on where they were going and the good that they could put out and the love that they could change and start having for themselves, do you think we would have so many wars? Do you think there'd be so many negative things going on? I really don't. The more that we can teach this, the better off the world will be. Now, Bob said in that video, decide what you're prepared to do. That means you decide what you're ready to let go of that has held you here where you are. Decide. Now, I've got my iPad out again, ready to teach you some more in this because, you know, I'm a visual learner as well as a listener. But I'm visual before I'm auditory. And I think a lot of you are as well. So let's just put this little thing up here now. I've got to move Polly. Oh, okay. Let's just remove this completely. So, oh, I removed me. That's quite funny, isn't it? This is interesting. See what I said? How everything will always change. There we go. I'm back. Tell you what, we learn all these different things. Okay, now we got it. Now let's put this one in front, maybe. All right. I'm having a good time here, aren't I? All right, well, we've got this little bit of window over here that I can draw on. Okay, let's just make this work. All right, so I want you to think about the stick person, okay? Again, now in your subconscious mind here, you have a multitude of habits, a multitude of beliefs, a multitude of thoughts, and like so many little things that make up your self-image. So you cannot just decide, I'm going to put this one in here and I'm going to create a new self-image. You have to take one of these out and then put it over here into this part. You have to create a whole new one that makes the old one obsolete. So without a goal, how do you know what you need to change? So you've got to have a goal. So you think about some of the goals that people have. One of the goals that, I'll talk about one of the goals that my daughter had. My daughter, when it was in 2019 that in October, we were about to go over to Toronto, Craig and I. We were going over to spend 6 days with Bob Proctor and go to this event called The Matrix. And The Matrix is an event that you turn up with, you come up with a business idea, and then you pitch it to the 100 people in the room. So there's like tables of 8 or 10 people. And so then you had to go around the 10 or 12 tables in this room and pitch your idea to every single person in this room. And if they felt that they had something that they could help you with, they would give you their business card, and you had to then so then you had all these contacts that you could use to create your business or your business idea. Now, I'd already been to a training of Bob's and as a coach, and so the training that I came to, I grew. Like, you think about it, I wrote that new self-image script that Danielle taught us to write, and I became a different person in those, like, I was gone for 10 days. In those 10 days that I was away, it was on the last night of training. I was talking to my husband, I was sitting in the bathtub, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, oh man, I've had this great day, I've gone and bought this, and it's so good, da 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 da, and he's just like, Paul, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. And I'm like, what? Can't do what? He says, I can't be here watching you do this because I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm just going to have to let you go. And so I'm sitting in this bathtub, bawling my eyes out in a town that I only know like a handful of people, and I'm becoming this person that he doesn't know anymore. And I'm looking at myself thinking, this is all wrong. I shouldn't have done this. I should have just stayed in Catherine. I should have just stayed small, and I should have just That's what my paradigm tried to get me to think about. And then I sat there a little bit longer and I thought, now hang on a moment. This is what I've been trained for. This is what I've been trained to see. Because if I let what other people think of me stop me from doing the thing that I want, I'm their plaything. I'm not going after my goals, I'm going after theirs. I thought, oh my God, rightio. And it was huge. Now, we never split up or anything. I came home and he just said, like, I know I have to keep up, Polly. I know I have to keep up with you. Otherwise, you're going to outgrow me, and I'm going to do everything that you do. And he became my number one client, and we work together all the time. We look at things and we're like, okay, what does our paradigm think of that? So then what do we need to create it to think so that we can have what we want? But I am so understanding, and I do get it when you have got so much trying to hold you back from being the person that you want to be. And it's so damn scary because you feel like you're out there alone. Now, I'm just very grateful that I had my kids and my husband see my transformation and also be supportive, even though it didn't feel like they were supportive right there at that moment. And, you know, my kids still threw things up at me. Like if I didn't quite get it right, they're like, oh, this isn't even working, Mum. All this work you say that you're doing, are you even changing anything and stuff? It was like, oh my God. I had to just keep shutting it down. And I just had to keep asking myself, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And I came up with this little saying about myself. Every time I see myself as, and I would put in words. Every time I see myself as, and this is the recording that I would sit and listen to. I'd lay on that couch and listen to it. It would go for several minutes, like it was like 17 minutes or something, but I recorded it over and over again so that I could condition myself to see the person that I wanted to be, that my goal demanded that I be. So I had to make decisions differently. Sometimes I could sit on decisions for weeks, sometimes even years. So I had to make 30-second decisions, back it up by action within 24 hours. I had to dress differently. And, you know, in a small town, like I said yesterday, when I turn up, people are like, oh, where are you going? Here. Why are you dressed up? I went to the club a couple of months back and I had on this nice red dress. I walked in and somebody said, did you get dressed up to come here? I said, yeah. Oh, well, I suppose that's nice. And I thought, it's not about you. It's how I feel. My goal is to feel good now. And I have this little thing, if you feel shitty, go get pretty. Like, so the way that you present yourself, you only get one shot at first impressions. That's what I have in my head. You get one shot at a first impression. What are you doing with it? What do you do with your one shot? How do you turn up in your life? Now, you will see through somebody so easily. And this is why, like when Trin asked the question yesterday and she says, well, I don't like people telling me what to do. And I said, because you've listened to somebody somewhere along the line and they have given you a direction, but they have not been where you want to be, and you have followed their direction. And because they don't know where you are or have been where you are, their direction could be wrong. And when you take that direction and it doesn't give you the results that you want, you become a disbeliever. This is why I say you have to understand. You listen to the people that have been where you've been and have what you want, because they're the ones that are going to give you the real guidance. But you know what most people do? They have a problem in their life or they have a problem with their body, and then they go and talk to the neighbor, Or they go and talk to their best friend and they say, what do you think I should do about this? Not going and talking to the person, the only person that has the answer. Sometimes there's several, but sometimes there's only one person that could have the answer. They go and talk about it with everybody else, and then they're so confused because everybody has their own opinion. Do not listen to anybody else when it comes to your goal. You know what's right for you. You know what you need. Most people need somebody there to hold their hand and say, okay, come on, off you go and do it. You know, I was, when we were on the cruise, Aneta and Leslie, a friend of mine's daughter, they were going for a swim. Now, it was far too cold for me to swim. I swim when it's hot, but I don't come from a cold country. Anyway, these two girls, ladies, walked down to the water's edge holding hands and got into the water and swam. And I thought, how perfect that they both realised that it's easier to do something together than it is by yourself. And this is why I have communities. If you do not have a community around you, supporting you, cheering you on, like I have a group called I Am Limitless that all my clients come into. There's people doing lives in there that and doing stuff in that group, and the love that everybody has for each other, it's just so beautiful. My thing is communities, because I know that without a supportive community, I wouldn't be who I am sitting here today. To have somebody to ring up and say, okay, I don't feel like this is working. Okay, it's all working. Just because you can't see it, because your consciousness, and remember your RAS factor, can only see what you're focused on. And at the moment, you're focused on the lack of your goal. That's all you can see the evidence of. Just because that's all you can see does not mean that it's not happening. It just means you've got your focus in the wrong area. Now, what's your goal? Oh, my goal is this. Okay. Now, what would you be seeing at that goal? See that in your mind. And these are the things that you're going to have to start to do. Whether you come and play with us or not is not up to me. That is up to you. But these are the things that you're going to have to do. What is my goal? What would I be seeing at that goal? What would some of the evidence be? Get a few of them in your head, and then start expecting them to see them. That's what you have to do. Now, I send my clients messages all the time, especially when they're in a little place. Like sometimes they get in a little down thing. You're like, hang on a moment. And I send them like what I would be saying to them at their goal. And they're like, oh, I feel so much better. Thank you. Because your focus, where you look, is what you are expecting. So you have to change your expectations. So, I wanted to tell you this story. So my daughter, right, she decided in November. So Craig and I went over to this matrix thing, and I had to do the same thing to him, because this was a man that wouldn't get up and talk in public, and he's going around to 10 tables telling his goal and saying it out loud and like being all confident and all of these things that he wasn't. He is very introverted and stuff. And I was like, holy man, who is this man? And I had to do the same thing. I remember sitting in our room one night and I said, honey, I've got to let you go now. I have to let this old version of you in my mind die so that I can see you as this different person. And that's what we're truly doing. So you've got to let the vision of you die, the old vision, so that you can step into the new. And you're going to do that one day at a time, one idea at a time. So when we were just about to fly out, it was like the day before we were flying out, Hannah comes in and she's 15 at that time. She's like, Mum, I've decided I'm going to go to boarding school next year. I'm like, oh, are you now? Okay, rightio. Where are we going? Because she's not going by herself. Like, we're all coming to, pretty much. And she said, I'm going to go to Emmanuel College in South Australia. I said, okay, how did you pick this? She said, I've been looking at it for a little while, and, you know, you said to me, and this was like only like a year sort of after her grandfather had committed suicide, and there was some things going on in her life that she wasn't, like, there was things going on at school and stuff, and the schooling here in this town isn't the best once you get to high school. So, and I'd always said, if any of you ever want to go, I will support you and do whatever it takes to help you get there. So we were about to fly out the next day, and I said, all right, Hannah, you're going to have to like maybe book a couple of tours at some different schools. Let's just see if that is the right choice for you. She said, I've already made up my mind. I said, yes, I get that, but Mum needs a little bit more, like I want to see what's down there too and see if you have chosen the right one. I said, and then you're going to have to book some flights. Let's ask Maddie, my eldest child, if they want to come too, and let's all just go down and check it out. I said, so book it all. Here's the credit card. Book everything. When we come back from Toronto, I think we'll be home for like 3 days, and then we packed up, and then we went down to Adelaide for the weekend, or like it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday or something. So off we went. Now, she picked that school. Now, I didn't ask about waiting lists or anything like that. I didn't even think about it. I just thought, what I want, I get. And that's the idea and the paradigm that I have. What I want, I get. So, and what my kids want, they normally get. So I've turned up to this school, we've done the tour, and then after the tour, we've gone back to our accommodation. I said, okay, which one? She said, yep, Emmanuel, that's it. So I sent an email and said, okay, Hannah has chosen your school. And then they rang me and they said, all right, here's the application. What year are you talking about? And I said, what do you mean, what year? She said, well, what year is Hannah talking about coming to school? I'm like, next year. I'm like, hello? And she's like, oh, yeah, right. Do you understand that there's a waiting list? I'm like, no. Waiting list? Like, I come from a little town of 5,000 people. There ain't no many waiting lists in this town. And I said, oh, no, I didn't even think about it. She says, yeah, we've got an 18-month waiting list. I'm like, oh, okay, righto. Well, let's get on that list. So, and I just kept seeing Hannah as going to this boarding school. Now, I said to Hannah, you're going to have to create this as a goal. You have to see yourself in that uniform, wearing that hat, in those, like in the dorms, in whatever it is. And we went and saw the accommodation, and because Hannah would be going into grade 11, they have like a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom unit. And then in grade 12, they go into houses, and they're up to 6 bedrooms in these houses, but they have their own kitchen. Now, because I used to be a chef, all my kids can cook. So she was really excited about the house side of things, but I said, we've got to get to let's get into the grade 11. Let's not worry about 12. Let's get to grade 11. Anyway, in December that year, at Christmas time, we had a trip planned to Perth, and we drove down, and we were going to drive across the Nullarbor and go to South Australia. And I was going to take Craig and Ryan to see the school as well, because I really wanted Ryan to go there when Hannah was in grade 12, so that he was there while she was there, and he wasn't all alone, sort of thing, because I knew that he was already having fun at school. Not fun, but really. Anyway, so we were on a tour again, and there was bushfire. It was funny. There's always obstacles. There will always be obstacles. We got to Esperance, there was a bushfire, we couldn't drive across, so we had to truck our car back to Darwin and then fly over to Adelaide and then fly back to Darwin. But while we were in Adelaide, and we already had a holiday booked on the beach in Adelaide as well with some friends. And while we went on that tour, I said, I've got a bit of a runny nose today. We were on a tour with this man called Bernie Dean. He was like the head of boarding. And I said to him, Bernie, when would you be able to tell me that Hannah has a place here? And he says, what? And I said, well, we're enrolled for, we want to come to here next year. When, would be the latest that you would tell me? And he's like, you do understand that there's a waiting list. I said, yeah, I get that. But, when would you know? And he says, have you got another plan? And I'm thinking, why the hell do I need another fucking plan? I'm Polly Hearn. Don't you know who I am? This is all happening in my mind. I get what I want. I just want to know, in my head, so I can plan for when you would tell me. And finally he said, oh, well, on the 29th. Now my kids, because I'd asked 3 times, my kids are going, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. My mum, can you just let it go? Can you please just let it go? You can just see it in the head. And I just had to like close down the evidence of my senses, and I just thought, I just want a straight answer. Have you ever noticed that some people just cannot answer questions because they've got another idea in the head, and you're just like, can you just answer my question? So I was just like, what date will you find out when Hannah has a space here and be able to tell me? And he says like the 29th of January. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a day that school starts. In my head, I'm like, that doesn't work for me. What would work for me then? I'm like, why did you even ask that question, Polly? Anyway, but okay, what would work for me? The 22nd. That gives me 7 days to book flights, get down there. Like, I've got to buy a whole new bedding. We've got to get uniforms, books, all sorts of things organised. Okay, give me a week. So I decided on the 22nd. Now, I said to Hannah, you have to change who you are. You have to see yourself differently. She's like, Mum, I'm already doing it. It's an ugly uniform, but I will see myself in it. And I thought, beauty, you keep doing that. She didn't do anything though. She didn't pack a bag. She didn't do anything. She just visualized it. Meanwhile, I'm making plans that we're going down to Adelaide at the end of January. So I'm working things out and already got things going. On the 22nd, I'm standing in here. My office used to be, like my desk used to be down that end. And I'm on the phone to Jerry Houston, which was my accountability partner, and we're talking about some of the things that we've been taking action on, like I've been telling you to do, what's been scary, what I've been doing. And my computer's going ding, 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 my phone's going bzz, bzz in my hand. And I thought, Jerry, just hold on a sec. There's something going on here. Somebody's trying to get my attention. And I look at my phone and it says, from a message from Emmanuel College, this lady from Emmanuel College says, Polly, please check your emails. We can offer Hannah boarding. Now, I was yip-de-doo-dah, I gotta go, hang up on her, ran down to Hannah's room and like, get your stuff packed, kids, we're flying out soon, we're going to Adelaide, you're going to boarding school. She's like, yeah, whatever, Mum. I said, Hannah, I just got the call, get in, get ready, we are off to boarding school. She's like, really? I said, yes, you start school on the 29th, let's get moving. Now, if you do not see yourself as that and have the conviction that my name is such and such and this is who I am, I always get what I want. If you haven't got that as a conviction, you need to start it right now. And never let money be something that changes or decides what you can and can't do. I did not know how I was going to come up with $40,000 every year to pay for this kid's school. And then the following year, because I wanted Ryan to go too, that was going to be $80,000. I had no idea. But because I wanted it and I desired those children to have the best start that they could have, I would figure it out. I would figure it out. And you will figure it out too. No matter what you want. Just like Alana said yesterday. She'd only ever bought $400,000 properties, one of them. Now they had to go for a 2.1, have no idea what to do. Don't even know what, like the process or anything. You know how to buy a property, but you don't know the process of how you're going to get money. And the more that you can just go, okay, it will just turn up. As long as I can hold myself, see myself with that, it will happen. Can you do that? Now, there are parts of you that are going to have to change, like Jenny. She had to change from being late to being early. Maybe your decision making has to change. Maybe how you dress. Do you dress for success? Now, I have had several personal stylists that I've worked with because I need to see me as somebody different. And how's the easy way to do that? Is with your senses. So you go and try on all these other clothes and you're like, oh, this one looks like you're very confident, rightio. So when I wear these and I dress like this, then you start to become that. The way that you speak. Now I grew up in a family that were gossipers. Girlfriends would come around to our house of my parents and they'd be yabba, 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 bitching and moaning about everybody. Chastising, like running people down into the ground and stuff. And that's how I grew up. So that's exactly how I thought life was. Until I thought, is that what Polly would do? Is that what Coach Polly would do when she's coaching people to success? Is that what they would do? No. Okay, so I had to stop. So it's, a goal gives you, what do you strip away? What do you stop doing? What do you need to start doing? Every time I see myself as a confident person. I see myself walking into a room with my head held high and not giving a shit what other people are thinking. I see myself as always dressed well. I see myself as da-da-da-da, whatever it is for you. But if you don't see yourself as that, and then start changing what you do each day, it's going to be a long road. Self-image is the key. The way you see yourself really does matter. Who do you need to become? What does your goal demand from you? This is why I had to stop drinking. My goal demanded that I turn up every day. Not with a hangover, not thinking less of myself and drowning my sorrows. It's facing the things, doing the things that I'm really afraid of, changing how I turn up. And you know what? I do get that when you first start doing something that is so far removed from what your normal routine is or normal things that you do is, there is anxiety. It's real, but it doesn't last long. It lasts 2 or 3 times, or the first 2 or 3 times that you turn up differently. So, the first time I got dressed up and went to town or went to Woolworths, man, I'm praying, oh God, I hope nobody sees me. I hope nobody sees me like this. But I just had to start turning up different. My lives, right? And you're going to get kickback. You are going to get kickback from people that are used to you showing up a different way. And they're going to ask you, who do you think you are? And they may talk about you behind your back. What other people say about you has got nothing to do with you. It's all about them. And remember, when you go after what you truly want, because everybody around you is in harmony with this current persona of you, this current paradigm of you, when you start to change, and I want you to think about, even this week, what has changed about you this week? Have you turned up with more confidence? Have you started to look at the way that you think about yourself, and maybe you can see that you're being a bit of a victim of your own life? And you're seeing yourself as the victim, and you've got to change that. You've got to think, oh, hang on a moment. Okay, if I keep thinking this about myself, I won't get what I want. I will get what I've always got. I have to change. And you probably made a list. And then you probably run away from that list and think, oh, no, my God, no. This is where it does take a village, does take a community to help you. Even in Think and Grow Rich, the secret is a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. The secret in this book is other people. Other people is what is going to help you get where you want to go. Other people encouraging you. Because the people that are in your life right now are in harmony with you the way that you are. And if you're about to change, what you're saying, what you're going to demand of them is change. Now, people do not like to be forced to change. Trin told us that yesterday. I don't like people telling me what to do. Yeah, because you don't like to be forced to change. But if somebody suggests, have you tried this? Maybe if you give this a go. I sent that message out a couple of days ago to some of my clients. Have you tried this? No. Have you thought about maybe trying it? Yes. Do you think you could give it a go today? Not, hey, you need to go and do this. When you tell people what to do, they sometimes balk at it. Suggestion. And if you've got kids, suggesting things to them is how you get them to do things, not telling. So remember what you need: a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. You have to sit with it long enough. Now, I talked to a lady yesterday. She's had a goal for maybe 10 years and never taken action on it until now. Because I know from this moment onwards, she's like, okay, Polly knows my goal. Whether I work with Polly or not, she still knows it. And I know I'm going to check in on her in the next 3 months or so if she doesn't jump in. And I'm going to send her a message and say, hey, how's it going? Now that scares the pants off people. Are you going to check up on us? Of course I am. I do it all the time to people. Because most people hold themselves back. They remain stuck because they let other people make decisions for them. And they let other people's ideas be the ideas. And they, you know, I think as mums too, and there's a lot of women in this group, whenever we become a mum, we put ourselves on the back burner. And even when our kids are in their 40s and 50s, we're still on the back burner, because then we see ourselves as the next thing and the next thing instead of who we want to be. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your eulogy to say? Now, I've read 2 people's eulogies, and after I finished the second one, which is a friend of mine, I thought, okay, and this was before I'd started this business, I thought, okay, now I want to help people change what their legacy was. Because I wanted to change mine. Because after I'd read a few people's stories, I'm like, what is mine? Mum wanted more, but she succumbed to a bottle on the couch. Mum didn't want to be the yeller and screamer, but sometimes when you focus on what you don't want, you become that too. Because whatever we focus on, we become. You know, at one stage there, I didn't even think my kids would be turning up if I died. They wouldn't have cared less. And my husband probably sighed a relief. So you have to have a definite purpose. What do you want? How do you want to live? Do you want to go to bed fulfilled at night, proud of the person that you've become? Get a burning desire. And then you have to have a definite plan, expressed in continuous action. Now, I know sometimes you come up with a plan and then you start taking action on it and the plan doesn't actually work. And you think, okay, what do I keep doing here? You change the plan. You don't change the goal. As long as you've got a burning desire, then the goal stays the same. You can change the plan though. Because you think about it. Like, let's just play an idea here. I'm going to drive to Adelaide, right? Or let's go to Brisbane. We're going to drive to Brisbane from Katherine. I start off and I start driving. The first stop may be, I don't know, Renner Springs to get fuel. That's my first point of call. That's where my focus is. I've got the big goal that I'm getting to Brisbane, but I'm getting to Renner Springs first. And then I've got accommodation booked somewhere along the road. Now, just imagine, and this is a time of year that you can, that the road's cut because of flooding. Now, I've done this. I was going to drive my car back from Adelaide to Katherine a couple of years back. And I'd bought a car. I had a car in Katherine and I had a car in Adelaide. And I decided the one in Adelaide I liked more. So I was going to sell the one in Katherine and bring that one up here. Now, I went to leave and the road was cut. So the plan changed. I put my car on a truck and I flew back up here. And then a truck bought my car and dropped it off down here at OTR. The plan can change. Goals do not. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Now, somebody could have said to me, oh, well, you're just going to have to leave it down here for another few months and come back down and do it again another time. I'm like, no. I was having my car in Katherine on this date. And maybe it was a couple of days later, but it still was around that time. I changed the plan. I was not flying down there and doing it again later on. I wanted it now. So you got to close your mind tightly to other things, other people's opinions of you, especially when you come into self-image. And then a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through on both plan and purpose. Now, you all know what my purpose is. My purpose is to make this world a better place and to help as many people as I can that have been in my position, that thinking that life is just here and we're stuck in a hamster wheel and we just keep doing the same thing and this is the best that we can hope for. Like, I was 40 when I looked at my life and I thought, if this is all there is, how do some people be really happy and I'm not? Why? Why is it like this? And I didn't know the answers. We'd taken a business from paper to computer in like 4 years or so, and then I'd said, or maybe it was 6 years, and I said to my accountant, I said, now what? What do I do now? Because I've always been somebody that's got to be on the go. And he says, this is it for the next 20 years or so until you sell it. And I'm like, what? He says, yeah, this is what you keep doing. You just keep doing the same thing every month and every year. And I thought, holy shit. Really? And I looked at some of the people that were doing that and they were not happy. And then they were waiting until they're 60 or 70 before they started taking their holidays and their trips, and by that time they could hardly walk, or they've got all these problems and they don't get to do the things and they live a life of regret. And I thought, that's it? Hell no. I am not saying, that is not my life. And I did not know what was going to change it. But I had mentors in Adelaide and I went to them and I said, okay, this is what I've been told and I don't want that as my reality. What can I do instead? They said, get yourself a new accountant. And now we're faced with a different reality. And I said to Craig, okay, I don't really want this reality anymore either. What do you want? And he says, yeah, I'm done with this one. Let's change our reality. So what do? Straight away, we find the people that can help us change our reality. So we signed up with a company to help us change our reality. Other people is what is going to help you get there. And it costs money because you pay for other people's services. And I've signed up with a company, we signed up both businesses. So I signed up my business, Craig signed up, and Craig and I signed up the other business. So we're working with this company to help change our reality. Because we don't have the answers. I don't know what to do anymore, but I want somebody to tell me what to do. And this is what I'm offering you. Somebody to tell you what to do. So that you're not sit there like, okay, what do I do next? Imagine that you've got a book and you've got a portal and you go, okay, today I need to do this and I answer these questions. You're like, oh my goodness, this is why I've remained stuck. Holy crap. Okay. And each day you have a plan of what you need to do. Like, you've got a plan to change. I love structure. I love knowing what I need to do so I can get the results, not trying to figure it out. And this is why you think about it. If an athlete that wanted to go into the Olympics, what would they pick? Would they pick somebody that has never been in the Olympics? Or do they pick somebody that has helped a lot of people go to the Olympics, or somebody that's already done it? To tell you step by step on what to do and how to do it. That's what you have to do. Now, on your own, you're probably not going to make it because you're trying to figure it all out. When there's somebody out there that has the knowledge and you say, okay, I need a coach. And I get the coach that has the results that I want and I employ them to help me. This is what I'm doing with our businesses at the moment. Our ideas have got us so far. We want to go here, so we need different ideas. So I need people to help us think outside the box because paradigms are strong. We know that. They will keep us thinking on the same level of vibration. But I want to go there. I need somebody to help me think up there because my normal way of thinking is not going to help me. I have to change. So if you have not booked your call yet, and you're sitting here and you're thinking, okay, yeah, this is all making so much sense. And the reason I've remained stuck is because I just keep thinking and doing the things that I'm used to doing, but I don't even know what to do next. Then book the call. And let's see if working with me is it. But I'm not going to try and sell you to come and work with me. I'm just going to first figure out do you know what you want? And then what is holding you back? And most of it is going to be how you see yourself and how you have let other people decide who you are. Now, remember this little card. You're on the brink of an emergence. Look at them butterflies, hey? On the brink of an emergence into something new. Allow yourself to change. That's what you have to do. You need to allow yourself to change. Now, we're about to jump into a Zoom. We're just going to have a 5-minute break, and then I will go and open the Zoom room, and I'll be in there. Everybody go to the bathroom, get a coffee, a tea, or whatever you need to do, and we're going to jump into Zoom, and I'm going to answer any of the questions that you have. And if I need to get my iPad out again and draw more and help you understand this, I will do whatever it takes, because if you can really grasp this and understand that the only thing holding you back is the way that you see yourself and allowing yourself to turn up differently, then you can have absolutely anything in your life. Every time I see myself as what? What do you need to see yourself as? So I'll see you in Zoom in 5. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Bye-bye. See ya.